was one sip away from disappearing, and I didn't even know it. One poisoned swallow, and my name, my future, my everything would have dissolved into whispers and obituaries. I was standing in a glittering ballroom, drowning in fake smiles, not realizing that someone in that room wanted me gone for good. What they didn't know was that I'd turn their plan inside out and watch their perfect life go up in flames. Before we get into it, hit subscribe for more stories that cut deep, and drop your city in the comments. I want to know where you're watching from. I'm Lucas Gray, 35. I hadn't set foot in my family's estate for years. The place was a shrine to excess, polished marble floors throwing back candlelight, the air thick with perfume and unspoken rivalries. That night, the city's elite danced like nothing ugly ever touched them. Their laughter was brittle, their eyes skipping over me as if I were part of the furniture. My stepmother, Vivian, had insisted on picking my suit, charcoal, plain, forgettable. "Don't make waves," she'd said, voice smooth as honey hiding arsenic. I should have heard it for the warning it was. I stood by a tall window, holding a glass of whiskey I hadn't tasted yet, the cool seeping into my palm. The string quartet swelled, and my cousin, Elise, floated past with her fiancé, both glowing like a magazine spread. She gave me one glance before turning away like I didn't belong in the frame. Vivian, in an emerald gown, was magnetic as ever, one hand on my father's arm, her laugh choreographed to charm. My father's smile followed hers, as it always did. Something in the air felt tight, like a bowstring ready to snap. I needed space, so I slipped into a side corridor. The music dulled to a hum, the air cooler here, but my head suddenly felt heavy, like I was pushing through fog. I'd barely touched the whiskey. Still, the last sip had a metallic tang, copper, sharp, wrong. That's when the service door swung open. The smell of herbs and sizzling meat poured out, along with a man built like a wall. "Lucas Gray?" His voice was low, urgent. "I'm Daniel Holt, event security. I worked for your mother years ago." Her name, gone for 7 years now, landed like a stone in my chest. Before I could speak, he stepped closer. "Vivian tampered with your drink. I saw her slip a powder in." My pulse spiked. "You're sure?" He nodded, sliding a small card into my hand. "Switch glasses if you can. And for God's sake, don't drink again." Then he vanished back into the kitchen. I walked back into the ballroom, the card burning in my pocket. The room glittered with gold light and glassware, but all I saw was Vivian across the floor, talking to a journalist, her necklace catching the candlelight. 2 whiskey glasses sat on the table, hers and mine, identical. My father was beside her, droning about family pride. I moved without hesitation, picking up both glasses, pretending to shuffle them before setting them back, mine in her place, hers in mine. My hands were steady, my heart anything but. She didn't even glance at me. "Thanks, Lucas," she murmured, eyes still on her audience. The toast began. My father's voice filled the room with talk of honor and legacy. Vivian lifted her glass, my glass now, and our eyes met for one electric heartbeat. Her smile was the kind meant for a funeral. She drank deep. The smile faltered first, then the tremor in her hand. The glass slipped, shattering on the marble in a spray of amber and ice. Her knees buckled. Gasps broke through the room as she crumpled. My father shouted her name. Elise shoved forward through the crowd. I didn't move. The medics came fast. Blue lights pulsed through the windows, but there was no saving her. The toxicology report later confirmed it. A lethal neurotoxin, enough to kill within minutes. That glass had been meant for me. Detective Nora Vance questioned me, her gaze sharp. "You're awfully calm for a man who just watched his stepmother die." I told her about Daniel, the warning, the swap, but I didn't tell her everything. Later, Daniel sent me grainy footage. Vivian at the bar, her fingers subtle but deliberate as she tipped the powder into the whiskey. I didn't give it to the police. I sent it to a journalist I trusted, someone Vivian hadn't bought off. By morning, the video was everywhere. Her empire unraveled overnight, invitations revoked, ads pulled, her name erased. My father called me to the estate. His voice was brittle. "She's gone," he said, sliding a folder toward me. Inside, the deed to my mother's house, her accounts, everything Vivian had stolen piece by piece. "You were right," he admitted. "Too late to matter." I took the folder and left without a word. I moved back into the house, threw open every curtain, let sunlight wash the shadows out. I hung my mother's art, brought her garden back to life. Elise came by once, standing in the doorway, eyes on the blooming jasmine. "I didn't see it," she whispered. I said nothing. Some betrayals don't deserve an answer. Now I sit on the veranda, breathing in the scent of soil and survival. I walked through a trap meant to end me, and left the one who built it buried in her own design. This wasn't vengeance. It was reclamation, my mother's legacy, my truth, my life. If someone's ever tried to snuff out your light, tell me in the comments. How did you rise? And subscribe, because the sharpest stories cut the deepest.